This podcast is part of Mishmash Media. Hey folks.
Hey.
Welcome to the second ever episode of Curbcast. This is a podcast where we review every episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm in sequential order. I guess scene by scene, I should say. My name's Ivan.
And I'm Stephen.
And yes, like I said, this is our second episode. We are talking about this week Ted and Mary, Season 1, Episode 2.
That's right. Before we get into the episode, just wanted to make mention, some of our listeners may be aware that this podcast used to be a Patreon exclusive for our patrons who supported us via our old podcast, but I don't want to be a secondary character.
Which you can still listen to.
That's right. Yep. So just type Seinfeld into your podcast app and you can check that out. But we've decided to re-record Season 1 of Curbcast. We've got Season 2 and 3 in the bag already, but when we originally recorded Season 1, they were really short, 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was more like a bonus episode.
Yeah, just a really, really quick bonus episode. Or bonus podcast. But when we got around to recording Season 2 and 3 for Patreon, they were more fleshed out. They were 30 to 40 minutes. And we want to bring Season 1 in line with the same, not just amount of time, but also format as well.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, you're going to have a bit more bang for your buck. And the only people who listen to our older episodes are people on Patreon. And I think we used to have it on the Bidwabask feed the first season.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so anyone who listened to Bidwabask at that time, we've since deleted it off that feed. They probably listened to it and thought, hey, I've already heard Curbcast Season 1, but you haven't heard the extended and better version.
Yeah, the new and improved Curbcast.
New and improved, yes.
Yeah, now they're rare items. You know, maybe we can sell them in the future as an NFT or something.
Oh, that sounds all right. Can you do audio NFTs?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. I think anything can exist as an NFT.
Sweet. All right, maybe we'll sell them off. Maybe sell them for charity or something.
Yeah. NFTs have only been around for a couple of months and I'm already sick of them. I already hate them.
You hate them already?
Oh, every day some artist or musician or public figure is selling an NFT of something they did.
It's like these people want to make money. What a joke.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be starving, damn it.
Yeah.
Starving artist.
That's it. Yeah.
Not quite.
It's just like a flash in the pan overexposed thing. I'm already sick of it. I'm like, I don't care about NFTs anymore. If you want to do it, fine. Just don't report it.
Yeah.
Just do it and make your money. I don't care.
I think they're starting to go down anyway. They're a bit fatty.
Yeah. Definitely a flash in the pan.
It is.
You can check us out on social media as well. We have Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And the handle is Curbcast Pod. So check that out.
Indeed. Anyway, Ted and Mary, plot synopsis for the episode, the second ever of Curb, aired in the US on October 22nd in the year 2000. Oh, damn, I did that joke again.
Season 4 reference. Come on.
I know, that's it. Damn it. Larry and Cheryl enjoy their bowling double date with Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen. But it ends badly when Larry accuses the bowling alley of misplacing his sneakers. Later on, Ted gets the wrong idea about Larry when he goes shopping with Mary at a downtown department store, Barney's. I have no trivia this week. What about you?
Yeah, just one bit of trivia. So the actor who plays the bowling alley manager, try and say that 10 times fast, also appeared in an episode of Seinfeld, The Strongbox. He was Seinfeld's neighbor, Phil, who owned Fredo, who was unfortunately killed.
Yes, Phil the bird. He kind of looked familiar.
Yeah.
I forgot the actor's name, but I was like, I think I've seen him before.
He was also in a episode of Friends. I can't remember the title of the episode, but he was a lifelong tailor for Joey.
Oh, all right.
And Joey is talking about how when he goes to this tailor, he has a really strange procedure when he fits him for pants, and that he always touches his dick.
Oh.
And it's only in adulthood when Joey's recounting the story to the other 5 friends that he realizes that he's been molesting him for 30 years.
That's pretty dark.
I know.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bit grim.
Yeah, very grim. Very.
Yeah.
It sounds like one of those special episodes, very special episodes from like the 80s and 90s. You know how there'd be comedies and then they'd have like an episode where it's like touchy subjects, like really dark, like drugs. Or
I don't think it was a special episode.
No.
I think it was just, a storyline that was a bit, looking back, geez, a bit off.
That is dark, man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, well.
That's it.
Got to get work, I guess, wherever you can.
And one other thing I wanted to mention, it's not episode trivia per se, but just a bit of Curb news. So not a lot of Curb news comes out because it takes quite a while to get a season together.
And it's not. I don't think it's going to be a regular feature of this podcast anyway.
No. Just when important things happen. I'm not going to reach as far as I used to do in Seinfeld news.
No.
One of the main actors, Jeff Garland, who plays Jeff in Curb, he appeared on the well-known podcast The Ringer, which is a sports podcast. And in that appearance, he was asked about Curb season 11, which is almost finished production. He said, and this was last week, so the sort of the second and third week of April at the time of us recording. He said that the season 11 schedule was nearly done. They only had about 2 or 3 episodes left, and only 1 episode deals with COVID-19.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess a lot of people were expecting that. I'm guessing that's going to be a theme in a lot of upcoming series. COVID-19 is going to dominate.
Of course.
But Larry, being the person he is, just wanted to have one episode that touches on it because he can't pretend it didn't exist.
No.
That would be weird.
Yeah.
But he didn't want it to overtake, the entire season and for it to be a dominant storyline.
I could imagine there might be something to do with masks. Larry won't wear a mask, or he gets
Something
told
like
off,
that.
or he forgets his mask in the car and goes to a store and he gets told off or something. It'll be something like that.
Yeah,
that's my guess.
Yeah, or he wears a mask too, or he pretends to be sick to scare people off, much like he did in season 10 where he wore the MAGA hat to keep people away from him.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he'll take advantage of the awkward social protocols and the resistance to those protocols of COVID-19. There'll be something, sure.
There'll be something. Oh, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of seasons, though. We haven't watched as far as season 3. So.
Yeah, past season 3 we haven't watched. So
yeah, that's right. So, a little disclaimer. So, anything from season 3 onwards for Curbcast is fresh for the both of us.
Exactly.
So, it's nice and exciting.
Yeah, so we'll put a link to that interview in the show notes if you want to check it out, because he did talk a bit more about other parts of season 11 as well.
All right, sweet. Anyway, let's get into Ted and Mary. Well, not literally, but you know what I mean. Scene 1, Larry and Cheryl are at the bowling alley on a double date with Ted Danson and Mary Steenburgen. They joke about Larry's bowling style, and Larry, as revenge, bowls a strike. Ted and Mary offer to take Larry and Cheryl to the Paul Simon concert in a VIP box. Larry says that they might think about it. Larry and Cheryl are dropping their shoes off as the attendant hands Larry the wrong shoes. The attendant is confident that these are the right ones, as Larry describes what his missing shoes are. Ted and Mary go up to see what's going on. The attendant says someone else took them, as Larry puts down his number so they can try and find them. And I mean, honestly, who takes shoes, man?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. I do have a little theory about why he took the shoes, but we'll talk about that because later on in this episode, Larry does get the opportunity to confront him. But I do have a little theory as to why he took the shoes, so we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, for sure. And this is the first appearance of Ted Danson, and he appears many other times on the show.
Yeah, like we said before, we've already done season 3, and he's a fairly regular character through season 3 with the restaurant that they're investing in and trying to get open. With a lot of hiccups along the way.
Yeah, many. Many.
Involving potential corpses and all sorts.
All that jazz. Yeah.
Yeah, this scene does the job it's supposed to. It establishes the main storyline. Like you said, it brings Ted and Mary into it, who appear pretty regularly throughout the show's run. And yeah, does what it needs to. Not really a lot to note about this scene.
No, it's just, again, just like last week, another introduction.
Yeah, that's right.
Introduction of characters.
Yeah, actually, one thing I did want to note, and this is, I guess, a goof or a trivia point, but apparently if you pause the part of the scene where you can see Larry's scorecard just before he bowls the strike, apparently the maths don't work out. So he doesn't have a high enough score that a strike would actually make him win. So just a little goof.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, there you go.
Never noticed.
Yeah.
I thought if you wrote like 500 on his scorecard or something, I'd be like, he only goes up to 300.
Yeah, I know. I think it's just whatever score he was at, I didn't actually note. I heard that from somewhere else. But whatever the score is before the strike, even if he got a strike, which I think is 30 points in a bowling round,
I think so,
wouldn't be enough. So he was obviously less than 270.
Yeah. Let us know. I mean, if you've caught it, if you watch this episode and then listen to us, let us know what the score was.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
How was it? Did you have fun?
Yeah,
Thank you.
those aren't mine.
No, they gotta be.
They're not my shoes.
They were in the they were in your slot.
No, my shoes are brown and they have sort of tan laces.
Well, they gotta be here.
Looks like a sneaker.
Right, yeah. Come on, take a look. They're here. They gotta be here.
In the next scene, Larry and Cheryl are in their bedroom. Cheryl says that they can't believe that they can see Paul Simon in a luxury box. Cheryl comments on Ted and Mary being such a cute couple. Larry says he really likes Mary, but says that Ted is a bit strange. Larry keeps talking about Mary and says that he can never be friends with her as they're both married. Cheryl says that it's fine to have coffee with her if he wants, because Larry says, I can't even go for coffee with her because we're married. And Cheryl's like, you can still have coffee with her. It's fine.
Yeah, it's one of the many situations where Larry has sort of a pretty steadfast rule in his head, and that this is the way it is and you can't work around it.
Yeah.
I do think there is a bit of truth in what he said in that maybe to some people the idea of platonic friends is a bit sus, but I don't think it's entirely true.
No.
No.
Of course. I mean, like, if you had like a friend of the opposite sex or a co-worker or something and you wanted to go for coffee, provided nothing happens after that, I mean, that's no problem.
Yeah. I've been in a situation, my first major relationship, where before I was in that relationship, I had a small group of female friends and the ex-girlfriend was quite insecure And she more or less said to me, not directly, but set the expectation that if I wanted to continue a relationship with her, I need to drop those friends.
Oh.
Which I, looking back, stupidly did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because at the time, immaturely, I thought that my girlfriend's, I guess, needs or priorities outweighed any friendships that I had. But looking back now, I shouldn't have made that compromise.
Big regret.
Yeah, but I mean, we were both teenagers, so.
Oh,
it's
different.
Or young,
Young adults.
teenagers moving into young adulthood.
Yeah,
So.
transitioning into adulthood.
Yeah, so both very emotionally immature.
Fair enough. Were you friends with them longer than you were with the girlfriend?
Not in terms of time accumulated, but we were friends first.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, that's even harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Oh, well, what can you do?
Kids, huh?
Yeah.
Larry gets a phone call the next morning and it's Mary. She says that she's gone shopping at Barney's, or she's going shopping, and Larry says that he needs some things too, and she goes, why don't you come along to Barney's? And Larry says that'd be great.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to mention on the previous scene, it's very obvious from the get-go that Larry has a big crush on Mary.
Yeah.
He talks about her glow, and he also speaks down a bit about Ted. He doesn't really like him, which I think, is also him trying to convince himself that maybe Ted's not good enough for her. It's weird.
But I don't think it's to the point where Larry would cheat on Cheryl and have an affair. I think it's more of like
It's
an
just
emotional attraction.
Yeah, it's just like a little crush you get.
A crush.
I think that happens to most people, even if they're in really good, healthy, established relationships. You meet people at work or socially, or you meet a new, friend of a friend, and from time to time you develop a little crush. Most of the time, hopefully nothing happens.
Yeah.
But we can't help but be attracted to other people, even when we're really happy with a primary partner. It happens.
If anything, it's kind of healthy.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. The idea of not being able to feel anything on any level about anyone else is just completely unrealistic.
Yeah.
And I don't think Cheryl seems a tiny bit sus at the start. She kind of
you seem to be talking about her a lot.
Yeah. But I don't think Cheryl. Cheryl is aware of how much esteem Ted and Mary have, not only as as stars, but just as people, and how good their relationship seems.
Yeah.
And I don't think Cheryl feels like Mary would reciprocate Larry's crush at all. She doesn't. She's a bit inquisitive. She's like, oh, well, what's Larry up to? But I don't think she feels threatened.
Yeah, I feel like maybe she thinks Larry's such a bit of an oddball.
Yeah.
And she's probably very curious about him. Yeah.
Yeah, and like Cheryl remarks, oh, it must be hard being married to Ted Danson. Like, Mary, like you are no threat to Ted.
He has the bigger airplane or the bigger private jet than George Costanza.
Yeah, and I mean, and he's actually
Which Ted Danson wouldn't fly in a plane like this.
Exactly. Yeah. So Cheryl knows what's going on, but she doesn't feel like, even if Larry, was gushing over her, I don't think Cheryl feels like anything will happen.
No. Larry's too weak anyway to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
He's too weak.
Yeah.
Even if he tried. He arrives at Barney's and meets with Mary and Mary's mother. Mary is impressed that Larry loves shopping, even though Larry, Cheryl says later that you're not into shopping.
No, he just made up that he loves shopping so he can go hang out with Mary.
Yeah, that's right. He comments on Mary's jacket as the sales assistant brings one over to Larry to try. The scene cuts to the three of them with shopping bags as they look for shoes for Larry to replace. The shoe salesman, I should say, says that they have the shoes he wants but in the wrong size. They say that the shoes can be ordered and will arrive in a couple of days. So obviously that scene transitions and the three of them seem to have had a great time.
Yeah.
Going on a big shopping blitz.
Yep.
Getting to have several bags for themselves, and they seem to be in very good company with each other.
Yeah, Larry's like really upbeat and charming. I think he just feels like spending a bit of time with Mary is maybe a bit of a breath of fresh air for him. And normally he doesn't want to spend time with people. Normally he avoids people. He doesn't like attention, but he obviously really enjoys Mary's company.
Yeah.
Like we said before, he's got a crush on her, and he's just feigning his love for shopping just to hang out with her. I think if Mary was, like demolishing a house or doing something that no one wants to do, even if Mary was like, hey, I'm moving house, Larry would be like, yeah, I love moving house.
Yeah,
like,
and
he
then
would pretend to love even the worst thing just to hang out with her.
Then his back would give out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then he's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the three of them in the next scene end up having lunch. Mary praises Larry for the fact that he loves shopping. She's like, I can't believe it. A guy that actually likes shopping. Mary's mother jokingly says that she should have married Larry instead of Ted.
Yeah.
Do you think that was a joke or she was for real?
Oh, I think it was just
like half joke.
Oh, I don't think it was a dig at Ted or even a dig at Mary for making the wrong choice. I think it was just an affirmation to say, hey, Larry's a bit different to most other men.
Yeah,
right. It's just a confirmation. It's just a shorthand confirmation of her saying, Larry seems like a catch. You should have, it's a joke.
It's a joke. Okay, yeah.
I don't think it was actually her commenting on her dissatisfaction with Mary's choice in Ted, because Ted is also a great,
a great guy, yeah.
A great, he's handsome, he's rich, he's smart, he's charming, he thinks everything's heaven.
Everything's heaven.
I love so I don't think it was serious. I think it was just an offhand comment.
It was an offhand
comment. Just
okay.
affirming that
Yeah.
Larry seems like a catch because not many men in their experience, like shopping and cooking.
Because I can imagine Larry's eyes lit up when he heard that.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Mary's looking a bit puzzled when she says it.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, immediately after that, Mary calls Larry sexy.
Yeah.
She actually says, hey, I find you sexy. And that bothers the mother a bit because she's obviously a bit more conventional. She's from Arkansas, the American South.
Yeah.
And she's just from a different generation. And she seems a bit bothered. She's like, you can't, platonic friends can't call each other sexy.
No.
But yeah.
There you go. So, maybe there's a bit of flirtation in there too.
Well, yeah, obviously Mary, I don't think her level of attraction to Larry is the same as Larry's back to her.
No.
I think Mary just seems to be into Larry just in this moment because he likes shopping. I think she's just impressed and a bit sort of...
bit surprised.
A bit taken aback.
And taken aback,
and just stoked that, there's this man who, not only a man, but a man like Larry, who's the complete opposite of someone you would find socially charming, actually into shop, even though he's making it up. I think she's just into
the idea
who Larry's pretending to be, in this situation.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as sort of... Larry's besotted with Mary. Mary's just into the idea of Larry in this moment, sort of thing.
And she falls for it hook, line and sinker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, everything you think... Wow, in this moment, Larry is like, like at the next level, you know, in terms of social things and he's just having a great time. Everything's just going his way.
Yeah.
He drinks Mary's mother's cup of water by mistake and she says, that's my water. He starts to gag.
Yeah.
And that kind of kills the vibe.
Yeah. Completely undoes any goodwill he's built up.
Yep. Over those several hours with him.
Yeah. And he's really, it's funny how Larry is not like his default demeanor is someone who's just curmudgeonly, he doesn't like people.
Yeah.
He doesn't like social cues.
Very misanthropic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it gets worse and worse as the show progresses. But it's funny how he has this really good ability when he wants to just turn it on and be like this charming, attractive guy who people want to hang out with. He's charming an older, more conservative lady. He's charming, his friend's wife. And he's doing it well.
Yeah.
He's, they love him. They love hanging out with him. But yeah, any goodwill he's built up is completely undone by him overreacting, almost dry reaching.
Dry reaching, and the mum's really clearly offended.
Yeah, as you would be. I think if I was in that situation and someone told me I was accidentally drinking their water, I'd stop doing it and I'd go, I'd make a tiny sound or I'd react on a small level. Yeah. But gagging?
Yeah, I mean, I've done that before. I grabbed someone's water by mistake a few years ago and I said, oh, that's mine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And you just get another cup.
Yeah.
Fine.
If you're worried about the hygienic aspect, usually you just stop drinking and that's it. You don't embarrass the person.
You don't
and embarrass yourself. Like even if you are really disgusted, if it's something that really, really grosses you out, you don't make a big song and dance about it. You just deal with it.
He really puts it on, doesn't
yeah,
he? God.
Yeah.
He goes full on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is so sexy.
Mary?
Well, I'm sorry. We're friends. I can say that.
That's no big deal.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm just very old-fashioned about that kind of... Oh, no, Larry, honey, that's my wallet.
Excuse me.
After the shopping spree, Larry arrives home with his clothes and Cheryl asks where he got them from. Cheryl says that she's never seen Larry with shopping bags before. He says that he went shopping with Mary as she was going to Barney's. This surprises Cheryl as he has never offered to go shopping with Cheryl, and they begin to argue why that's the case. The doorbell rings where Ted hands Larry a Barney's bag that Larry and Mary switched by mistake. Ted says that Mary has the same jacket as Larry and they're walking to the car. Ted passively aggressively asks Larry how the shopping trip went and he says maybe for the concert you should ask Mary what you should get dressed in.
Yeah, you should call and check what you're wearing first so you don't wear the same thing.
Yeah. So he's kind of not happy.
Yeah, I think...
Very jealous, if you will, but passive-aggressively.
Yeah, look, I think he's just signaling to Larry that he knows what he's up to.
I
don't think Ted... I think Ted is more like Cheryl in this scene where he's a bit like, oh, something's up here. But when he thinks about what's actually happening, he doesn't feel threatened. But he's almost just saying to Larry, I know what you're up to, but at the same time, I'm not really bothered by it because I'm Ted. Come on. Like, it's almost like a bit of smugness. Like,
that's the way you got it?
Yeah.
I thought he was actually pissed off.
Oh, I think he cares enough to actually say something, but I don't think he feels genuinely threatened or jealous. I think it's more a case of like, I'm just going to let Larry know that, I know what he's up to. And, so to say it confidently,
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, two different takes.
Yeah. Both fit, I think.
Both fit.
Yeah, Cheryl seems a bit ticked off as well. When Larry comes home and she asks him where he's been and he says that he's been shopping with Mary, she's a bit confused and then the confusion seems to quickly transition into being a bit ticked off.
Of course, because I mean, if you haven't even gone shopping with your wife and you're suddenly going shopping with someone else's wife, you'd be a bit ticked off too.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand it's like, that's a thing that you've never done with me and all of a sudden you're doing it with a relative stranger. You'd feel a bit,
You'd be like, there's something going on.
You'd feel a bit insecure about it.
Oh, you would, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But Cheryl, again, plays it very cool. She lets Larry know that she's not really happy with what happened, but she doesn't, she keeps her cards close to her chest.
Oh, she sure does. She's very, very defensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Larry is at his office and the receptionist says Ted didn't call about the Paul Simon tickets. She says that the bowling alley called, however. So Ted was supposed to call and say how to get the tickets. And Larry's like, why didn't I get a call?
Yeah.
It's like, I should have got one by now. The concert's coming up.
Yep.
The scene cuts to Larry at the bowling alley. The attendant spots the shoe thief. He points him out. And this character is probably one of the weirdest characters on the show. Larry goes to confront the man about why he stole Larry's shoes. Larry gets rolled up as the man is steadfast in the fact that he took the shoes. He's shocked when Larry asks for them back. He's like, what? You asked for your shoes? And he takes the shoes from the guy and he walks off. I think he's one of the weirdest characters on Curb that I've seen so far.
Yeah.
It's just like, who steals shoes?
So I said before that at the start of our review that I have a little theory. I think he spotted Larry in the bowling alley, and I think he clocked him. He's like, "Oh, Larry David's here,and Ted Danson," and
he's a big Seinfeld fan.
Yeah, and I don't think he set out to steal his shoes, but he's obviously a fan, or I'm assuming he was a fan when he went up to the counter and he realized that he could take Larry's shoes. He just capitalized on that opportunity because they were Larry's shoes.
Oh, right. Yeah, because I'm thinking, like, why would you wear them? Wouldn't you auction them off or something?
I don't know.
You wouldn't just wear them.
I don't know. I'm not saying he's not weird.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I think he just took advantage of an opportunity to take Larry's shoes because he's a Larry fan and he spotted him beforehand. That's all.
Fair enough. Well, my theory was the shoes that Larry, the guy swapped with, they're shitty old white sneakers.
Yeah.
I think maybe the guy couldn't afford good shoes, and maybe he saw the shoes because he probably wouldn't have seen Larry come in.
Right.
Or maybe he was bowling when Larry came in. I don't know, but he probably looked at those shoes and said, "Oh, I like that pair."
Okay.
And he just took them.
Right.
Yeah.
So he needed a new pair of shoes. He wasn't sure how he was going to get them, and then the opportunity presented itself, and he just took advantage of it.
Maybe he didn't have enough money to buy shoes.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, he's got enough money to go bowling.
Maybe.
More than once.
More than at least. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I don't know. If you've got enough money to go bowling, you should have enough money to buy some shoes.
Yeah, and at least
And not steal other people's shoes.
And if you're going to steal shoes, at least steal the bowling shoes. Don't steal someone else's shoes, for God's sake.
Well, bowling shoes are pretty uncomfortable, pretty impractical.
Very slippery.
Yeah, yeah. Unless you're in a ska band, you don't wear bowling shoes.
Bowling shoes.
Yeah.
Do you remember those music videos from the 90s? A lot of them were in bowling alleys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ska and
Yeah.
punk and stuff.
Yeah.
And roller disco,
Yeah.
roller derby or disco or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was a common setting for...
the late 90s,
Yeah.
early 2000s music videos.
Yeah, the main one that pops in my head, there was a they kind of had a minor hit with a song. I think it's called Standing By You or Chased By You or something by You.
Yeah.
They were called the Hippos.
Oh,
They're a
right.
ska band, and their song, the film clip, if you watch it, is set in a bowling alley.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
With people bowling in the background. I think the band's bowling, and they're sort of playing. And yeah, it was a very common setting for that sort of music.
Yeah, it wasn't just me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could imagine the Mighty Mighty Boss Stones or Less Than Jake or or Real Big Fish.
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure actually Real Big Fish, maybe one of their film clips. Oh no, sorry, that was Basketball, the set of Basketball.
Yeah.
I think it was it Beer? They've got a song called Beer. And
maybe.
that was one of the main songs in
the
Basketball.
soundtrack. Yeah.
In Basketball.
Right.
And I think they must have filmed the film clip when they were filming Basketball because it's the same set.
Sure.
And it's basically almost like a scene from the film.
Basketball's such an underrated movie.
Oh, it's great.
I love it. I
So
love
good.
it.
I love all of Trey Parker and Matt Stone's film. Orgasmo.
Team America.
Team America's
Yeah.
good. That was their big commercial breakthrough.
It was, yeah.
I think a lot of people are aware of Basketball, but it's not a mass. It's a bit more of a cult classic.
Yeah, like
Kinda
Orgasmo too.
Yeah, Orgasmo is even more obscure.
It is,
I
yeah.
always compare Basketball to Office Space.
Yes,
it's not
cult.
super obscure, but it's not The Hangover, a massive mainstream comedy.
No, it's very cult.
It's in the middle.
Yeah.
But even Hannibal the Musical, which was their first foray into film, really low budget intentionally, but it was before they got big on South Park.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Orgasmo is amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
It's very funny. Very
Everything they do
talented.
is pretty spot on.
I gotta watch Basketball again.
Yeah, it's good.
Good movie.
Yeah, you should check out Hannibal the Musical as well.
Oh, I haven't
really
watched
good.
that one. Okay, sweet.
It's ridiculous and very very absurd intentionally. It's really good.
Definitely Trey Parker, Matt Stone kind of humor.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Larry is with Jeff at the shoe repair store to pick up his refurbished shoes. The scene cuts to them walking down the street where Jeff said he got tickets to Paul Simon. Larry says that Ted still hasn't... Jeff says that he got tickets to Paul Simon. He did, rather.
Yep.
But then Larry said he hasn't got his tickets yet because Ted hasn't called. That's what I meant. And of course... in a very coincidental situation, the Barney salesman runs into Larry, and he looks at Larry wearing the shoes, and they're the same as Larry ordered. Larry tries to explain the shoes thief situation and says he won't need the shoes he pre-ordered. The salesman gets offended about this and says he tries to help Larry, and now he's out of a commission for the sale. Larry offers to give him commission, but the salesman accuses Larry of treating him like a shoe whore.
A shoe whore,
as he
not a
walks
shoe
off.
whore.
Yeah, and what a coincidence.
You're the problem. And Larry's like, I'm the solution,
I'm
buddy.
the solution, buddy. Love it. Yeah, I mean, it's another one of those semi-fantastical coincidences like last week where, you know, the guy happened to be in the same spot as Larry at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was convenient plot, a convenient plot eventuation. Yeah, I think, I mean, this scene sort of is self-explanatory. The salesman just overreacts. I can understand I could understand him being a bit miffed, going, oh, okay, but the fact that he just yells and berates and accosts Larry in the street and then walks off is just a bit over the top.
Yeah, he's very, I don't know, he's just a bit of a whinger, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was trying to think, why would he do that? Maybe he's under like a lot of pressure at work, like maybe he's not meeting his sales numbers.
Yeah, and he needs sales targets.
Yeah, and any loss of sale is a big deal. Mm-hmm. I think that's the only thing I could think that would maybe justify him overreacting.
Yeah, and maybe he's got a lot of pride in his job too.
Yeah.
Like he says that Larry just, treats him like a shoe whore.
Yeah.
So, he wants to be treated with dignity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, at Barney's, I'm sure they a lot of the clients are high end. He probably deals with like a lot of celebrities, a lot of wealthy people. Maybe he gets treated like shit a lot.
Yeah.
Just as like, lowly.
Mm-hmm.
And, he sees Larry as just another arrogant celebrity who's not respecting him as a professional. And he's just like, you know what? I'm sick of you guys. Screw you. Even though Larry wasn't like that,
No.
I think Larry's sort of in the right.
He is, yeah.
The only thing I can think against Larry is like maybe he should have called up and said,
cancel my order.
Yeah, but he only just got his shoes back. So he didn't even really have an opportunity to call the shop.
I mean, he probably was on the way to call them on his car phone anyway.
Yeah, maybe.
Phone, so,
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, just a massive overreaction by the shoe salesman.
Yeah, and a mystery as to Larry's actions, what he was going to do.
Yeah.
It could go either way.
Yeah, and it was frustrating when the shoe salesman, not just the volume in which he was speaking at and the conclusions he was jumping to, but he didn't even really give Larry an opportunity to go word in edgewise.
Yeah.
Larry was trying to explain it to him, but by the time he explained the situation, the shoe salesman was on to his next point.
Yep.
He was just sort of ranting at him. That was a bit frustrating.
Yeah, a little bit, but what can you do?
What can you do?
In the next scene, that evening, Larry and Cheryl are in the living room waiting to go to the Paul Simon concert, even though Ted and Mary haven't called them about how to get the tickets. Jeez, imagine, these days with online ticketing, you can just pull the tickets.
Yeah, this sort of thing dates it where, you're sitting around waiting for contact.
Yeah.
And now there's so many ways to contact anyone about anything at any time.
Yeah.
It definitely puts it in its time.
Yeah, and they're thinking, maybe Ted and Mary have ghosted us.
Yeah.
Is what happened.
Well, I believe at this time the term was snub.
Snub,
But
yeah.
now it's ghost.
It's ghost, yeah. It's how times have changed. Cheryl wonders if they've offended them somehow. Larry reveals that he sipped Mary's mum's water and gagged, which could have offended them, and caused them to get snubbed by the Dansons. She's upset as she wanted to go to the concert. The scene cuts to them sitting on the couch. I love this part. Paul Simon is playing on the stereo. Larry is singing along to the lyrics while reading them from the CD book. Cheryl is disappointed and she leaves the living room.
Yeah,
I love that scene.
It's a perfect encapsulation of how Larry and Cheryl differ in thinking about lost social opportunities or just social interactions in general. Larry's a bit ticked off at first. He probably feels a tiny bit bad that he may have cost him their tickets by overreacting to sipping Mary's mum's water, but he doesn't really, he gets over it pretty quick. And then he thinks, you know what, I'm just going to put the CD on and that's good enough. Like he's basically over the entire situation and he's happy listening to Paul Simon's CD. He's having a good time. He's sitting there, he's like singing along.
He's in his own space.
Yeah, whereas, he's already processed the situation. He's gone through his emotional process and he's like, I don't care.
The way he does it.
Yeah, he's just like, he's tossed it out already. It's in the bin. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm just going to listen to the CD and not care anymore. Whereas Cheryl is still pissed off.
Yeah, very
and
pissed off.
That to me is a perfect encapsulation. Like Larry's very good at just processing, the emotional outcome of the situation, going, I don't care.
Yeah.
And he's all good again. Whereas Cheryl is she's still
Needs time
annoyed.
to stew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough.
And she gets so upset she just leaves.
Yeah.
Leaves the room.
And Larry doesn't even regard her leaving, just almost oblivious.
Yeah.
He's either ignoring her or he's oblivious.
I think oblivious.
Yeah.
Just like last week.
Yeah, he's just so into listening to Paul Simon that he doesn't even notice that she's ticked off and that she leaves.
Hello, darkness, my old friend, huh?
Yeah.
In the second last scene, Larry goes to Barney's the next day to return the shirt jacket as the angry salesman confronts him about his game of ripping off salespeople and his commissions.
Seems a bit paranoid.
Very paranoid, yeah. Larry is in the right here.
Yeah.
Mary's mother spots Larry and she says that she enjoyed the concert. She says that Larry wasn't mentioned by Ted and Mary at the concert. Mary is nearby looking at clothes and greets them. Greets Larry, rather. He asks why they weren't invited to the concert concert. Mary clears everything up, saying the concert they got invited to was tomorrow night, which is Sunday night. So they went Thursday, Friday, I think, and then they're going again tonight.
No, she said that Paul Simon's playing
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yep,
And
so they went to Friday.
Tickets to all three shows.
Yeah.
And the show that they were going to invite Larry and Cheryl to was Sunday.
The final one. Yeah.
I believe this scene is...
Saturday.
During
the day, yeah.
because she says, you're coming tomorrow with us.
Tomorrow, yeah, that's right. Yes, and Larry, he's relieved because he thought that they were being snubbed. So there you go.
Yeah.
So I guess Ted and Mary probably mentioned Larry, and maybe they had a chat about it, and Mary's like, oh, look, I think, what Larry's like, a bit of an oddball.
Yep.
I wouldn't worry too much. Nothing's happening between us. And then Ted's probably like, yeah, that's cool. No worries.
I think Ted and Cheryl respectively...
Ted and Mary.
Sorry. No, Ted and Cheryl
respectively. Right.
They're both a bit sus on why is Mary... I imagine that Mary would be talking a bit about Larry at home.
Yeah,
the way, maybe not as in such a besotted way that Larry's talking about Mary, but similar enough for both Ted and Cheryl respectively to go, oh, what's going on here? But once they figure out that maybe it's just like a little crush or something, a little temporary thing, I think both of them, in their own ways, don't feel threatened.
Yeah, I think Ted and Mary are able to talk things out and resolve things, whereas Larry and Cheryl are such polar opposites.
Yeah.
Cheryl can try and reason, but then Larry flies off the handle or he goes on a different tangent.
Yeah.
So nothing ever gets resolved.
Yeah, and even if it goes unresolved, I don't think Cheryl feels like the fact that it is unresolved is anyway a threat.
No.
It's just, it's not going to be resolved, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about it. She can let it go. But yeah, I think Ted and Mary, I imagine they would have a much more mature...
robust relationship.
Yeah, where they can talk things out. And, Mary can reassure Ted that, oh, no,
nothing's
we're
happening.
just friends.
Yep.
We just hung out. We just like each other. And Ted would trust that.
Yeah.
Whereas Cheryl's like, because Larry lies to her all the time. Or he changes things. Or he edits things. Or, And so Cheryl's always, even if Larry gives a perfectly sound and trustworthy explanation, she's always going to have an element of doubt.
She will, yeah. Well, that's the way it goes. And we see it manifest later on.
Totally.
Yeah. In the final scene, Larry arrives at the luxury box for the concert. Only Mary's mother is there, so not Ted and Mary. And Larry's like, what's going on? She says that the Clintons, Bill and Hillary, arrived in town from Arkansas. And that Ted and Mary went to go see them.
Yep.
Larry says that Cheryl's cousins flew in and that she couldn't attend either. Larry sits next to the mother. The concert begins. There's a little like a snippet of like a concert. I'm guessing like archival footage.
Just stock footage,
yeah. Stock footage of one of Paul's concerts. As the music's playing, she falls asleep, or Mary's mum falls asleep on Larry's shoulder, and Larry's sitting there contemplating what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
why am I here?
He's miffed that Mary's not there.
Yep.
And he's miffed that Cheryl's cousins turned up as well and she can't come because Cheryl wanted to come see Paul Simon.
Yeah, I think Cheryl was so pissed off at this stage.
I think
that
so
she's
too.
Gone, you know what, fuck you. I'm going to go hang out with my cousins. Even she's happy to let go of a Paul Simon concert that she really wanted to go to just to stick it to Larry.
I think that's what it is too.
Yeah.
Just to stick it to Larry and, enjoy your time with Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking... I don't think it would have been Mary's decision to snub Larry and Cheryl to go see Bill and Hillary.
Yeah.
I reckon that would have been led more by Ted.
By Ted.
More by Ted.
More by Ted.
Yeah. I imagine Mary maybe would have been a bit like torn, like, we don't get much opportunity to see Bill and Hillary, but we also said we were going to go do this thing, and Ted's like, nah, fuck Larry.
Yeah.
I can imagine him going, like just as a way to stick it to Larry.
He still has some resentment towards him.
Yeah, because I think if they really felt bad about bailing on the plans last minute, they would have given them a call and said, hey, like you can still go, the tickets are still there, but it'll just be Mary's mum.
It was a bit of a, you're right.
It was a bit of a screw you.
It was a screw you instigated by Ted.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Yeah. If they were genuinely remorseful, they would have given them a heads up saying, look, you can still go, the box is available, can still enjoy it, but we won't be there because we've decided to take advantage of an opportunity that doesn't come up much.
Yep.
But yeah, I think Ted knew that Larry would turn up expecting to see Mary.
Yes.
And by making it so that Mary wasn't going to be there, it was like an extra fuck you.
Yeah, basically. And Mary's mum was there instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the one, and I'm sure Mary's mum explains the
yeah.
gag situation
yeah.
to Ted.
So it's not only awkward for Larry that Mary's not there, but it's awkward. The only person that is there is someone that he previously offended. And someone he doesn't even know that well.
That is good.
That's masterful game
That's
playing
masterful.
on Ted's behalf.
That's why Ted was on top for so many years.
Yeah, and that's I think that reaffirms what I said before about when he goes over and swaps the bags with Larry. He sort of leaves with this sort of smug confidence, like, maybe you should call her and check, the clothes you're wearing.
Yeah, the clothes you're wearing tonight.
He knows what's going on,
yeah.
and he can outwit Larry. Larry's not dumb, but he's not very good at playing those like more sort of mind games,
conniving games.
No.
That's it, and that was Ted and Mary. So episode 2 of season 1. Next week we're doing episode 3, Porno Gill, which is a very good one. And now, Stephen, we rate every episode out of 5 Larrys. I give this one 2.5 Larrys out of 5. What about you?
I give this one 2.
Yeah, a bit weaker than last week for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just found this episode to be a bit boring.
It was boring in parts too.
Yeah, the only scenes that really made me laugh or that I really enjoyed were the ending scene, I think is pretty good. How Larry's just sort of left there on his own with his old lady falling asleep on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And when Larry confronts the shoe stealer and also the shoe salesman. You know, he was a weirdo. He was paranoid. He was an interesting character, but I think the rest of it was pretty forgettable.
Pretty forgettable. My favourite moment was Larry with the CD art, like the CD book, reading the lyrics.
Yep.
And he doesn't know the lyrics,
Yeah.
but he's just singing them off the book.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you can tell he has like a passing, idea of Paul Simon.
Yeah,
He's got
Larry
a passing knowledge of
Larry
it.
doesn't seem to get much pleasure out of almost anything.
Yeah. Cheryl's more the fan.
Yeah. So, I think having a passing interest in a singer is probably the most he would be into something.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And that's basically it for this week. You can follow us on social media at CurbcastPod. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, and TikTok. You can also email us if you want to say hello, curbcastpod@gmail.com. And you can find this podcast pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts.
That's right. And if you want to support us, you can rate us or review us on your podcast app of choice. That would be awesome. Help spread the word, especially being a new podcast. We want to grow our audience and get the word out there. So if you think someone else might enjoy us, any Curb fans or Seinfeld fans, let them know. That would be awesome.
Yeah, indeed. And you can support us financially. All those details are in the show notes.
That's right.
My name's Ivan.
I'm Stephen.
We'll see you next week for another episode of Curbcast. You take care of yourselves and each other. Thanks for listening. This podcast is part of Mishmash Media, an independent podcast network. Follow us on social media at Mishmash Media AU or support us on Patreon. All those links are in the show notes.